Oh, wow, that's a new feature. It tells you that it's, I hope it's okay.
Yeah.
Recorded.
I've noticed that lately on everybody's Zoom. It's like it's big announcement.
That's the first time I've seen that.
It is new,
Yeah.
I think.
Me too.
Wow.
Oh, okay, so there's Leslie. She's being allowed.
Yep.
There she is.
Hey, Leslie, we were waiting on you to start. So
Well, there's her background. Oh,
I guess Annika got kicked out somehow. Back. Anyway,
you're muted.
I'm muted.
For some,
I don't. It doesn't
for
look like
some
a.
reason, it kept saying, waiting for the host to let you in, and then it would die and go back to the login screen. Oh, and I just left again.
We see you.
You had
Oh, I don't know what.
you had two names that came up for some reason there.
Oh,
But
well,
anyways,
anyhow, I'm here now, and I think I'm live.
Yep, there you are.
all right. So let's get started. Our guest today is.
Thank you, Leslie.
Oh,
Can you guys hear us?
we can
Yes,
hear you.
yes.
We can hear you.
All right.
Okay, good. Thank you, Leslie.
We can see you now, even too. All right. So our guest for today is Lisa Monroe, Director of the County Office for the Aging. She's been with that agency since 2013 and the director since 2018, I believe.
Yep.
Prior to that, she worked at Willow Point Nursing Home in Vestal.
Mhm.
Director of Therapeutic Recreation at Lakeside, which is now Cuba Ridge. And she holds a bachelor degree of science from SUNY Portland with a major in recreation and leisure studies. And so welcome, Lisa. Look forward to hearing about, well, a little bit about how you ended up where you are, and then you can share with us about the County Office for the Aging and how you've gotten through COVID, how that has affected things. So,
Sure.
welcome.
Happy to.
So
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Sorry, Lisa. Maybe everybody should mute. If you have a question, unmute and jump in, but mute in the meantime. And now, welcome, Lisa.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you all for having me. Yeah. This is a nice group. I'm glad to see all these faces. It's wonderful. And I'm glad you guys were able to continue and shift over to virtual as we've had COVID in all our lives. Yeah, so Zach pretty much summed it up. I do have a degree in recreation. That was really what I wanted to go into. And, when I went into school, there's many different populations you can work with when it comes to therapeutic recreation. However, right out of college, I did get a job at Lakeside and really just enjoyed working with elderly. And I didn't have a lot of older adults or older people in my life as a child. My grandparents all passed away before I even got to meet them. So I really valued that and grew to love it over the years. From Lakeside, I did go to Vestal, even though I still lived in Ithaca. I commuted for 17 years out to Vestal from Ithaca. So that was rough. It was a little rough. So all my children were pretty small when I was like, I just can't do this anymore. So that's how I ended up here at the Office for Aging. I started here in 2013 as the planner, the Aging Services Planner. And from there, I went to be the New York Connects Coordinator, which I'll talk about that a little bit, what that means. And after that, when Lisa Holmes left us in 2018, I applied for the director position and was fortunate enough to get it. So that's where I am now. Happy to be here. And it was great to continue to work in county government, because I did out in Vestal, I did work at a county nursing home, which there's very few of them left in New York State. So I was familiar with some processes with county government. So that was helpful when I came here also. How long do I have, Zach? I don't want to go too far into the weeds here, but
It's fairly open-ended. We can,
okay,
go as long as it seems to be flowing, and then
sure. Okay.
we'll call it a day.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so right now at the Office for Aging, we're still really closed to the public as far as our doors being open. But through COVID, we've really shifted everything that we do over to a virtual platform, if not phone calls, snail mail, the whole thing. We've figured out a way to serve people however we can. Sometimes that included, having in-person meetings, but they were few and far in between, and we have everything in the office set up for that. A lot of my staff, I was just telling Zach before we came on, had been furloughed for some of that time, and most of them are all back. We did lose one staff person. That was a position that was cut in the department. But we're all here, but not in person at this time, but we're moving that way. We're hoping we can open our doors back to the public and get everything back to normal this summer, hopefully by July. So that's my goal, to shoot for that. But just to tell you a little bit more about what we do and how we serve people. Our mission, I'll just start with that if people don't know, it's to assist older adults and persons with long-term care needs to live independently in their homes and communities with quality and dignity. One of the programs that I mentioned was New York Connects. That program is really a hub of information, assistance, and resources that we provide to people. So we don't directly provide a lot of services, but we do give people the information and resources that they need about long-term care and aging services. That said, New York Connects funding is funding that's available to serve anyone with long-term care needs over the age of 18. So it's not just people over 60. So if someone had a long-term care need that they needed to live at home, we help navigate those systems too, like OPWDD, which is the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities and things like that. So we work collaboratively with, including Zach and GX. So got a lot of partners in the community. There's some great collaborations that happen here. But just overall, an office for aging. They call them AAAs, and we're not talking about the car people. We're talking about area agencies on aging is what they call. And really, you can go anywhere in the country and you're under the umbrella of an area agency on aging. Not all states do it the same as New York State. New York State is done by county. Other states do it regionally. So you might have many counties covered under an area on agency on aging. But basically the Older Americans Act is the basis for all these programs across the nation. So we, here in New York State and here in Tompkins County, we are under NYSOFA, which is, we speak in a lot of acronyms if you haven't noticed, and I'll try to explain them all to you. If I slip up, call me on it, because I try not to do that. But NYSOFA is the New York State Office for Aging. So federal law empowers NYSOFA to administer the funding to us here locally. So in New York State, there's 59 different area agencies on aging and networks of professionals. But here locally in Tompkins County, we administer 28 different programs. We have 32 different contracts with people. We have 12 subcontractors, 22 funding streams, and 4 fiscal years, which is crazy making. and I praise my budget people all the time, because it's really hard to connect all those different funding streams and fiscal years together and make it all flow, so the money goes out the door where it needs to be. And we do this all with 10 full-time staff, and we also have 3 part-time staff. So we do, like I said, we do get some federal funding for, and I'm going to actually tell you what federal funds we get. So we have overall our budget is 33% county funded, it's 35% state funded, and 18% federally funded. We also have sometimes we have grants. We also get matching funds from subcontractors, and we do have client contributions and client share for some of our programs. But really that federal funding seems to always stay flat over the years. That's never really changed that much. So we're fortunate here in Tompkins County that we do get that 33% county share. Not all counties, especially of the county, pitching in that much money, so they're not able to do as much as we are here. Some of the basically the title programs that are from our federal programs are Title III programs, which are like supportive services, our congregate meals, our food, our home delivered meals, and let's see, the caregiver support group, which is a title program, and Title III-D, which is a disease prevention, health promotion. And most of those programs we subcontract out, particularly FoodNet Meals on Wheels is our biggest contractor. The main, I think we provide about 70% of their funding to FoodNet Meals on Wheels. So we also have nutritionists that works 10 hours a week through our office to oversee and monitor FoodNet and making sure that they are actually meeting the Older Americans Act regulations regarding these title programs. So it's an important connection. And we work very, very closely with everything they do. Of course, they have 30% of their budget from other places too, and they work well, they're amazing. And Jessica's wonderful. I'm so glad to have her as a partner, and she is able to, expand and do some really great things lately to move beyond the funding that they have to serve many, many people in the community beyond our clients. But yeah, so that's our biggest subcontractor. But the other subcontractors we do, we subcontract with Lifelong. We, as far as federal programs, I'll just say, and we have, I'll get into our state subcontracts too. The long-term care ombudsman program, which is the Title VII program from the federal Title VII, which I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with what the long-term care ombudsman program does, but basically it is to advocate for people that live in long-term care facilities, nursing homes, assisted livings, and the small family type homes. And it's really to address health and safety and quality of life issues, which are resident driven. It's really got to be something that the resident in those facilities wants to, make a change with. It's kind of like that liaison between the staff and the state and the resident. We're here to just advocate for them. And although we do serve families through that program too, but when it goes back to an actual complaint, it has to be driven by the resident who lives there, unless the family is speaking in their behalf or capacity for them. So that program became regionalized. Our governor likes to regionalize things. So it became regionalized in 2015, which it had been run by each county previously to that, but then they regionalized it down to 15 regions across New York State. We at the Office for Aging are the only office for aging across New York State that does the ombudsman program. Everyone else is a nonprofit in those 14 other regions. So our office, with 1.5 staff people and I think 4 volunteers, covers all the nursing homes and facilities in Tompkins Chemung and Schuyler County. So we do that 3-county region, which includes about 1,900 beds, if you're counting all the facilities and all the homes. So that's a lot of people that we have the ability to touch. So it's a big program, and we continue to do that. We have some really great volunteers. It's a pretty extensive volunteer experience. There's a lot of training required, and there's hours that they have to visit in a nursing home. They're required to visit so often. So we're just getting back into facilities right now. Everything was, virtual or by phone, but just now being able to get back in the doors, which has been great to actually lay our eyes on some people and to see situations. So that's been great. Let's see. So our state funded programs that we have a few different programs that one, for example, is community services for the elderly. That's what just a general across the board funding stream that you can kind of use to fill in all sorts of different kinds of programs. And we do that. We have health insurance counseling, which I don't know if everybody's familiar with that, but we subcontract with Lifelong to do that too. So their coordinator is paid through our high cap insurance or high cap funding. And the rest of the counselors over there are volunteers. So we have 3 counselors in our office as well. But that's a big one. It's something that keeps us busy all year round, and particularly in open enrollment. That's when we're busiest. And it was interesting to get through that experience last year with the pandemic, but we did it. We were able to still serve people and get them what they needed. Hopefully this year it'll be nice to see a few more faces in person. But so that's one of our bigger programs. There's also some funding that comes to the state that supplements our caregiver program. So we have a caregiver resource center is what it's called, and different funding streams go into that. But basically we have a lending library. We do support groups for caregivers. We do trainings, and we have some money available for respite. Basically, if a caregiver needs a break, we can hook them up with trying to get them an aide to come into the home so they can go out and take a break or get some groceries, run errands, or whatever it is. So we do have that respite funding available through that. We have a Project Care friendly visiting program. We have administer through with our local partner DSS, the HEAP program, the Home Energy Assistance Program. So we do that for people that are 60 and older. Some of our other contracts that we do are weatherization program that we have, or weatherization, I call it small home repair, but they don't like me to call it small home repair anymore because everybody thinks that we only work on small homes. And I don't mean that. I mean, we're doing minor home repair and, some kind of modifications in your home. Say somebody needs a grab bar down the hallway, or a shower bar, or a chair, things like that. Simple, small, minor repairs or modifications. And we subcontract with INHS to do that work for us. So we have 2 contracts with them, and we could probably throw all sorts of money into that, and there still wouldn't be enough, and there'd still be a waiting list, but we do what we can to, try to address that to keep people in their homes safely. We also have a yard, and this is something that we do out of the office. We don't vet this list, but we have a yard and snow shoveling list. We have a group of people that say that they'll volunteer, or some of them are paid. We keep track of who's who. That will do that kind of work for people in certain areas of the county. Most of the municipalities are covered at this point, but we could always use more people to be on that list to help. We have Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. I don't know if people are familiar with that, but that's actually the kickoff for that webinar will be tomorrow, so we can learn more about how it's going to work this year. And we hope to get the farmers market coupons in hand by the end of June, I'm hoping, and start administering them. That's a big one for the summer. And it's a good one because people walk through our doors more often. And I'm looking forward to that this year because there's sometimes they don't realize what we do. And they just walk into the door, they'll find out, oh, I didn't know that was here. Or I didn't know this was here. So it's really, we've missed that. And I think we've missed some opportunities because of that too, opportunities to help people. Another big service that we provide, and I say we provide it, we don't directly provide it, but we administer it through the office, is our partnership with long-term care services. We provide case management program for our expanded in-home services for the elderly program, which is basically having an aide come into somebody's home to help them. It could be, there's two levels. One's like light housekeeping, cooking meals, running errands kind of stuff, which we call personal care 1. And then there's personal care 2, which is more like your hands-on care where you're actually helping somebody bathing, dressing, toileting, things like that. So we subcontract with DSS for 2 case managers. So they actually come to someone's home to assess them, do the case management piece, they keep in connection, and they actually connect them with our other contractors, which are the home care agencies. So they try to hook an aide up with a person, or they provide the ability for the consumer to do it themselves. So you could hire somebody that you prefer, like a friend or a neighbor or a grandson or granddaughter, whatever. So you could actually have them provide the care and they'll get paid for it. So we do those programs. We have a couple other small programs that we subcontract out with Law New York. We have a real small grant that we provide them for free legal care for people that meet the requirements. We have gadabout tickets. I don't think people know this, but we have gadabout tickets for free. Anybody ever wants a gadabout ticket, anybody over 60, there's no income eligibility. Anybody that wants a ticket, we can send you up to 10 a year. So get that word out because we have a lot left from last year, and our contract is we can carry them over from year to year. Because nobody was really going on rides last year, we have a bunch. So we and we'll be getting more. So that's mostly the programs that we do. Again, that a lot of that switched over to virtual, in this past year. Another new kind of thing we have, and I don't really call it a program, but something that we've done to kind of address people's social isolation is we have the companion pets. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the companion pets, but we've gotten a lot of them. And actually our New York State Office for the Aging has given, I think they shipped us, 40 pets last year. And they're like animatronic cats and dogs that people, they kind of interact with you, and you can hold them in your lap, and you can turn them off too. So if the dog and the cat's meowing too much, so which is kind of nice. No litter boxes, no taking them out. But people have really responded more positively than I expected. So we do have those, and they're for free. We've had enough funding right now that we've been able to purchase more of them through our CARES Act funding that we received, and we're able to give them out to people. And we've had really positive feedback. Another thing we did for the pandemic is, I called it a pilot originally, but one of the first things that we noticed is that a lot of the clients we serve, some rural, some low income, were not able to really easily switch over to this virtual world that we're all using right now. Whether they couldn't afford the tablet or a phone or whatever it might have been, or maybe they just didn't know how to use the equipment, or possibly they couldn't afford the broadband or the internet access. So we teamed up with a company called Senior Planet, and we got 20 tablets, and they're, probably a 7 or 8 inch tablet, kind of like an iPad, if people are familiar with that. And we hooked it up with 2 years worth of broadband, and we we had some requirements for the people to be a lower income and be in an area that it would be connected. You know, we have a lot of blank spots in the county that people just can't get access to anything. And we put them out the door and we partnered them up with a friendly visitor to teach them how to use this over the phone, and also provided a hotline number for them to be able to call anytime during the day that they can, you know, if they have something wrong or they don't know how to do something. And through the project, we're on our second 10 now, but we had our first 10. People were able to go from not knowing anything to actually having groups just like we are right now. They're able to communicate with each other. So it's opened their world up quite a bit. And I hope to keep the program going. We are going to be able to get some more funding from the American Rescue Act that's coming. I hope to get some more tablets to help people be able to at least have this option that we have right now. Because I don't see us doing away with this completely. I know it's given some people that have transportation issues or other issues access that they didn't have before. And we're probably going to do most of our things with a hybrid model. So.
Good question.
Yeah.
No, probably not applicable to anybody here because you're all online, but if I were to know of a few people that would benefit from a tablet and that kind of training, how would we go about?
You can refer them right to me, Zach.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the next 10 are going out, and I still think we have a couple people that can be on that list. What happens, we have pretty strict policies and procedures set up for this, that they'll have to meet certain criteria as far as financial eligibility, but also we're also looking at their social isolation piece of it. You know, we want to give these to people that are socially isolated and don't have the support that some of us have to kind of, there's an actual scale, a loneliness scale that we use, trying to provide some data to for future grants possibly. So, you know, and even show that the telehealth piece, because I feel like there's some funding that could be available with that. If we can get people to a level where they're able to actually use it for other things besides just, you know, visiting, we want that too. So yeah, send them my way. We would call them and go through everything with them. I like the extra piece. The State Office for Aging is doing things like this, but they're not connecting them with a visitor. And we have these great volunteer visitors that really are helping the people like a one-on-one situation where they're able to walk with them and talk to them the whole way. We've got some really good flyers that we send everything out to the client first that shows them what the buttons are, how to use it, and you know how the layout of everything works. So it's still a work in progress again. I mean, this was like my brain child last summer. I said, how we, you know, so many people still can't do this virtual thing, and how do you get over that? So, you know, I was like, let's get some stuff out the door, but it wasn't that easy. Of course, it wasn't perfect. And we're still, we're definitely still trying to, you know, fine tune it here and there, but it's been really positive for the people that have used it. So yeah, but send anybody, if you know anyone, I'd be happy to pass that on to our group that works on that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of business as usual, but kind of not, you know, we've adapted, but still miss the in-person stuff. I think that I'm really looking forward to that, and so is the staff. Be happy to answer anybody's questions if you have any.
I have a sort of weird question. Where did you pick up the y'all?
Am I saying that?
You said it at the beginning, and since I spent 22 years in Louisiana, I'm always curious about where somebody who uses it like I do got it.
I don't know. Must be listening to good folks like you. I don't know. I'm not sure where I picked that up.
Okay. So you didn't come from anywhere in the South?
No, no, I grew up not far from here in Ovid, Ovid in the.
Oh, I know Ovid. Okay.
Yep, not far.
Neat.
Yeah, it's like I said, we're fortunate in this community to have so many great partners, even people that we don't subcontract with. We work so closely with just so many agencies that really, support the lives of all people, not just aging people, but although we're all aging, but, we work with youth services all the time, to see what kind of intergenerational opportunities there are to, the lifespan issues of age friendly. I don't know if you guys are familiar with age friendly, but we have a committee that works on those principles and trying to, embed that into the work that people are doing. So, it's across the gamut, and after working in Broome County for 17 years, coming to this community and seeing how everybody works together it was just amazing, because it didn't work that way out there. It wasn't the same, all good people, all good things, but there's just this connective group out here that just is happy to work together. It's not real siloed. Nobody feels ownership and those kinds of things. So it's really great to work here with like people like Zach.
So I've seen County Office for the Aging represented like the Senior Expo back when we were doing that.
Yes.
Do you have other, how do you do your outreach beyond that? Do you have other places
Yeah,
that you set up?
This year has been, of course, terrible as far as outreach, because everything just shut down. But we've been kind of, and I don't see the Senior Expo happening probably. It may not even happen next year again, but we have 2 outreach workers that work in our office, and our big season, of course, is in the summer, and typically we would do outreach at any kind of event that we could go to. But particularly now, we've focused on things that are still happening, like food pantries. We'll go and sit a table at food pantries, and we'll probably do that again this year to do our farmers market coupons. We've been putting a lot of stuff out the door, like we send out booklets to organizations. We've, just done a lot of things by mail. We've done public information type thing, more presentations, things like that. Less tablings, I guess you want to call them, where people are coming up to us one-on-one. We're kind of just reaching out to different people. Reaching out to the senior groups in municipalities, sending stuff, asking if they want us to do something. But yeah, so that's evolving too, because I feel like right now, that's what we did last year. But moving forward, we have to come up with an outreach plan, because we want to start getting back out to people and seeing them in person. Trying to find out what is going on out there, who is getting back into person type things. Last year we set a table up right outside the office and did farmers market coupons there. It was okay. We had some colorful characters walking up and down State Street outside. That was couple people that were trying to panhandle people that were coming to get their farmers market coupons. We had to say, come on, But yeah, it was a little bit of a rough place to actually do that, which was disappointing. So I'm not sure if we're going to do that this year. We're just kind of still working on what it's going to look like.
How would you find out if other states offer things like that? I used to be in New York State, but I'm in Tennessee now.
Oh, wow.
What did you like? How would I go about to see if they have anything like the Office of the Aging here and stuff like that? I'm in Springfield, Tennessee right now.
Springfield. I'm going to look it up for you, Sally. But I know that you're covered. It might not be right in your county or area.
Yeah, I'm Mary County, yeah. We're near Nashville.
Oh, okay.
I'm outside of Nashville, yeah.
Nice area.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can look up, what I'll do is I'll look it up for you.
Okay,
I'll let Zach know, because I'm sure he has your contact, so.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
He's my
and I would just give them a call, because they'll give you the rundown of all the services they offer. Of course, it's gonna be a little bit different than New York State, but
Right. But because like they do have like even the senior groups down here, but naturally they're not as great as New York State, or Ithaca, I should say, but that's a whole different story,
yeah. Oh, look, did you find it already? Look at it, you found it already.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Zach.
He could email it to me.
Yeah. So whatever area, oh, Greater Nashville, probably, I would say. The Greater Nashville one would be, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's by region there. And that most of the states are by region.
Uh-huh.
Interestingly enough, it's New York State's got it just covered a little bit differently. Another thing I wanted to mention is we do have an advisory group. We're always looking for members. So if anybody's interested in that, we've been meeting virtually. We meet once a month, minus a couple months. And there's a few subcommittees, nothing that requires a lot of commitment, but they do help us plan for our public hearings. We are required to have a public hearing, at least one each year. They help us choose our outstanding volunteer for the year. We have 2 outstanding volunteers that are recognized each year. I think some of the folks that have been in your group before, Zach, have been recognized.
I remember Louise Matisich was recent. I don't.
Yes, Louise, yep. I think that was the last time we had something in person.
Right.
It's been a while. And is Barbara Berry part of your group too? I think Barbara, no? Okay. Yeah, so we do that every year. They would also help us with the annual luncheon, which is when we do our annual report. Again, that's not happened either. And if there's any kind of advocacy that comes up, there's an advocacy group, budget piece that we usually run our budget by. But other than that, it's more or less, it's not a true guidance group. It's more of a group that we can communicate with. We have liaisons from different organizations that come on our board. They're not part of the board, but they are agencies, and everybody has an opportunity to ask questions. The health department's there, different places. So I think it's more of a conversational thing, and for people to bring up issues that might be affecting people in their communities so we can try to address it. It's kind of, it's good for all of us. It's good for me to learn from people. So it's that type of an advisory board. It's a little bit more laid back than it's required, but it's not a governance board. Yeah.
I get asked about the odd job helper, shovelers.
Mhm.
You said that those are people that sign up with you. You don't really vet them, but you keep track of whether they expect to be paid or not. Is that?
Yeah. So it's a kind of a weird thing that we do. I mean, I like that we do it, but again, it's not vetted. So it's something that we put out a couple press releases each year, asking people if they'd be willing to do yard works, shovelings, things like that. Well, so people will call us and we will, take their information down, where they're available, whether they're paid or unpaid, if they have their own equipment, things like that. So we add them to the list, and the remaining people, we check in with them at least once a year to make sure they want to still be on the list. But we don't provide the list out to people just in general because people will call us and they want to get off of the list, or they, want to be removed. And then their name is out there and everybody keeps calling them. So we kind of hold it close. But anybody's, able to call us at any time, and we'll give you the names for people in your community. And we tell people that we don't know these people. This is something that you have to take precautions, when you're making a transaction or doing something for free. You got to make sure that you're comfortable with the people, that kind of stuff. So, but it does come in handy. And, we're always looking for people in rural areas. I think that's the hardest one to serve, especially snow shoveling. I think downtown it's a little bit easier because, people are shoveling their driveway. They might pop over and shovel a couple more, but it's getting out there into the rural areas where people are really, have longer driveways. They need plowing, and, getting that for free is usually not easy, So it's that kind of thing. We keep track of that. And of course, this time of the year, it's popular again because of yard work. And a few times a year, we'll get some church groups come and say, we want to do a big day of something, or some college students, same thing. But for the most part, we just keep that list, and people can call us anytime.
I don't know that it might be more complicated and harder to pull off, but a suggestion of a similar type of help is the sort of the IT tech, make my phone do this, download these pictures. It's sort of fraught with a little more, you have to be careful about opening your computer to strangers, but it's something I think there would be a need. And
that's a great idea. Yeah. I wonder if that's even something we could partner with, like Lifelong or something with, that they could provide something, because we do partner with them with a senior plan and that hotline number. Yeah. It's something to think about. I will look into that a little bit more. I know another need that people do call us for, we have a list, it's really long, of unmet needs, things we're still looking for help with that we can't seem to find anywhere. One of them is managing checkbooks. Lifelong used to have a program called Check It, and they had volunteers that would go out and help people just pay their monthly bills because they just couldn't manage it, or maybe were not familiar with it. Their wife did it and she passed away, or vice versa, and they don't know where to begin with all the bills that are coming in. That's one thing that is a really unmet need for us to have someone do that for free. That is, I know for financial assistance, but that's not really, a lot of the clients that we serve can't afford that. So that's been a tough one too. And then having a volunteer do it, it's almost as hard as opening up your checkbook as it is opening up your computer these days. It's kind of, you have that vulnerability with that, and frauds and scams are just crazy now, and have only gotten worse through the pandemic. That's been a tough one. And we do work with oh my gosh, the name's escaping me, but DSS, Adult Protective. So we get a lot of calls and partner with Adult Protective on situations that people are concerned with for other people, particularly financial abuses, not just physical stuff. Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have more questions? Anything we didn't touch on?
Do you work with Southside Community Center too?
Well,
Because I know several older people who took computers programs with them that was organized by somebody.
I just saw that they hired a new director.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach out to them, actually. They've kind of been closed down. The only we did years ago through Lifelong with them. They had a shopping assistance program. But as the communities changed, the need changed, and you know, they didn't use it too much. And this is going back. This is probably 80s, 90s, early 90s, and they we had the North Side, South Side program is what it was called. Now we've even changed the name of that a little bit. Lifelong's calling that the Mosaic program. And yeah, shopping assistance. And they did have the Martin Luther King breakfast or there, but that's it really. We didn't directly do anything with them, but I think always when there's a new director, there's an opportunity to relook at that, you know, and see what kind of programming that they are doing. I'm not even sure. Because I mean, they literally closed down, right? And
Yeah.
their
pretty
staff, yeah. So I'd be curious. Yeah. I'm writing on all my little ideas. Thank you.
Got some notes to
Yeah.
carry with
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Anyone else? Last chance? All right, well, I guess we'll wrap this up and let you get on with your day, but we really appreciate you joining us and
Of course, anytime.
forward to
Yeah, that
maybe-
was really good information.
A lot of
To
information.
pass,
Really
especially to get about information on to someone.
Get the
Yeah,
word out,
Was
please.
challenged, that would be very helpful to this person.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
awesome.
they could get 10 passes a year.
Well, that'll be in my next newsletter, so
Thank you.
Oh, great, thank you.
expect
you
some
very
reaction.
much.
I'll send you a little blurb,
Oh,
Zach. Use
Sounds good.
yeah,
Sounds
write it
good.
there. Wonderful.
All right, everyone.
It
Well,
was nice to see you all. Thank you.
Too.
we'll see
Thank you
you
for
around.
coming.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
That was very good, yeah.